Hello, everyone. Ex-Wallkill Bethelite here. And I want to congratulate Mr. Geoffrey Jackson, one of the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, because he got his GED. And that's good. That's really a good thing. We don't want to make fun of the GED that Mr. Jackson has, because that is an accomplishment. I mean, that's the equivalent of a high school diploma, technically. So that's a good thing for people to get. If you've dropped out of high school, like at the age of 15, like Mr. Geoffrey, let's just call him Geoffrey, like Geoffrey did, then it's good that you went and got your GED. So I wanted to just clap my hands in a congratulatory fashion for Geoffrey for having his GED. And he lived in a different country. You know, he came from a foreign country, and I don't know if it's called a GED there, but he dropped out of school, and it's good. It's good that you have that. And the question comes to my mind, what is the qualifications for being a governing body member? Because all this time they've had, you guys know that they've only had one black governing body member. And they can't say that they haven't had a Mexican governing body member, or Hispanic governing body member, or an African governing body member. They can't say that they don't have any of them because they don't meet the qualifications, because apparently you only need a GED to run Watchtower for millions of Jehovah's Witnesses around the world to listen to anything you say without doing any outside research. Well, the qualification for that is a GED. And again, we're happy for Geoffrey. Good for Geoffrey that he got his, he dropped out of high school, but he left high school at 15. And he says that, in his life story, I looked up his life story and, read the Watchtower article on that. I think it's on the JW website. And it's almost comical. To JW.org should be a comic, just a comedy website. Because I'm reading about a person who is unquestioned in that organization, a governing body member. And if Geoffrey were to apply for jobs, if Geoffrey were to get on Indeed.com and look for jobs, because if he wasn't at Watchtower, he wouldn't qualify for half the jobs. He wouldn't qualify, I would say, for most jobs on Indeed. If he were to leave a governing body member, one of Jehovah's Witnesses leaders, if there's any Jehovah's Witnesses watching this, your leader, one of them, if they were to leave Watchtower, they would hardly qualify for any position anywhere else. I don't know if he'd even be able to be a bank teller. I don't know. You might need a degree for that. So you're following a man who is running Watchtower, Geoffrey Jackson. And Geoffrey Jackson is running Watchtower And Geoffrey doesn't have the qualifications to be a manager at McDonald's, from my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, comment down below. But the person that you think just somehow knows what Jehovah wants to have put in publications, the person that you think somehow just knows how to lead people closer to God, this person, he if he were to apply for McDonald's management position, they probably would look at him and say, you haven't had any education past 15. You don't qualify to tell people, a crew of people, to flip burgers, let alone qualify, Geoffrey, to tell millions of people how to serve God. You can't run a McDonald's, but because you don't have the qualification. So Geoffrey, I guess, was pretty much born in. His mom studied, and his dad, I guess, took 13 years before he joined. So his dad was probably off and on, typical JW family. JW families aren't always and definitely aren't most of the time, they're not ideal. Everybody doesn't agree on the cult. So it's apparently Geoffrey's father, he wasn't on it. He wasn't on that religion. And probably because his mother was, think about it. You're growing up, you're going to the Kingdom Hall with your mother. We're putting ourselves in Geoffrey's shoes. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Let's get in Geoffrey's shoes. We got our GED. But, when we were younger, we're growing up and our mom is going to the hall. Geoffrey's mother's going to the hall. So Geoffrey's sitting at the hall hearing about how the man is supposed to do this and the head of the household is supposed to do that. And Geoffrey's just growing up feeling like his dad is just so inadequate. So, of course, Geoffrey's going to feel like, well, I need to be the example. I need to step up. I need to do more. And he decides to get so gung-ho about Watchtower, make up for, his father's lack, that he decides he wants to get involved with translation, learn languages, and quit school at 15. Now, I don't feel like I completely buy that. I think that, yes, there may have been a point where Geoffrey felt like he needed to make up for his father's lack. If his father didn't join the religion for 13 years of his life or something like that, his father was probably off and on. But for Geoffrey to have dropped out of school at 15, think about it. Around that age, a lot of kids are rebelling. So the Watchtower article is saying that Geoffrey dropped out of school at 15 and got a certificate and then and went into field service and what have you. But I'm having a hard time believing that. I'm having a hard time believing that someone at 15 quit high school and did it so that they could go out and serve. Because you go out in service and still go to high school. If Geoffrey is half as smart as what this article is saying, it wouldn't have been that hard for him to finish high school and knock on doors. So I think that you do have scandals with governing body members, but people don't know what those scandals are because Geoffrey had this article about his life, and people just believe whatever's there. I think Geoffrey's leaving a lot out. I need some proof of this. You dropped out of high school at 15. Now that sounds like, some 15-year-olds. It sounds like some rebellious 15-year-old. It just doesn't make sense. And then he says in the article that both his parents were okay with it. Now think about it. If you have your mom is in and your dad has been off and on. He said for a long period of time he wasn't involved with the religion at all. And he had to know about it because his Geoffrey's mother was going. So Geoffrey's father was half in, half out. And you think that guy was completely okay with him dropping out of high school so that he can go knock on doors and whatnot? If you ask me, because we have to fill in the gray areas, I don't think that the dropping out had everything to do with knocking on doors. I really don't think Geoffrey Jackson dropped out of high school at just because he had to knock on doors at 15 years old. Come on now, at 15 years old, you're not able to make decisions like that. Your parents shouldn't trust you to make lifelong decisions. So if the article is accurate and Geoffrey Jackson's parents let Geoffrey make a life-altering decision at 15 years old, then they were idiots. At 15, you don't know what you want. Typically, at 15, you are nowhere near a legal adult yet. You're still illegal. You're not even, in America, you can't legally drink alcohol. 15, I don't think you can drive a vehicle. 15, you're a minor. So if Geoffrey Jackson's parents are Jehovah's Witnesses and they're letting Geoffrey make life-altering decisions at 15 to drop out of high school, then they're idiots, and that kind of fits the mold of some Jehovah's Witness parents, though. There may be Jehovah's Witness, because it's a cult, so there may be Jehovah's Witness parents that will let their kids just blow off all their education and go knock on doors and give a little sales speech. So you have a man that he's got a suit on and he's got the title of governing body, but he has got the qualifications of a janitor to scrub the toilet. Am I wrong here? I'm 100% accurate. The man has got on a suit, but his qualifications in real life outside of a cult is that he would be struggling to find a job right now. And this is who millions of people are following. You don't know what this guy was up to prior to becoming a governing body member. All we know about is what's in the article. And what little we know of the article is the dude didn't even finish high school. So we have Samuel Hurd, who no theological schooling qualifications whatsoever. The dude came out the military. And, you have tight pants Tony, who also came out of the military, and he has no theological training. What I mean by that is a long period of time studying at an accredited establishment to be able to teach others religious material. Because there's plenty of people that's read the Bible. There's plenty of people that can quote the Bible, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should be teaching others, let alone millions of people. So you got Samuel Hurd and Tight Pants, and neither one of them are qualified, according to any standard in America, probably according to any standard outside of America. And then you have Geoffrey Jackson. He didn't even go in the military. Dude dropped out of school at 15. So far we got three stooges. Geoffrey, Hurd, Morris. And these three put together do not have the qualifications at all to be running a religious institution, and it makes 100% sense. It makes plenty of sense as to why you have them teaching overlapping generations. You have got idiotic teachings because you got people in there that dropped out of high school at 15. Think about it. Overlapping generations is too dumb for any other religious institution to teach. And there's no other religious institution that are putting people at the top of that institution that have zero qualification. I mean, none. Oh, you got your GED? Come on in. I want to see proof that he got his GED. I believe he dropped out of school at 15, but I want to see the GED. I want to see the proof. And he should have to provide that proof, seeing as how he's leading. He's put himself on a pedestal as a religious leader and has no theological training, so he should at least have to show that he's got proof that he at least got the GED. As far as we know, he just dropped out of school at 15. So when people say that Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult, they mean that. They mean it. You're dealing with people that are so delusional that they would listen to anybody. You have millions of people following people that Bible says a blind man following a blind man. They're all going to fall in a pit. They're following people that it makes no common sense at all to follow. And that's the problem with the cult, is you start having masses of people, millions of people operating without even the basic common sense. To know that people that just dropped out of high school at 15, they probably shouldn't be following them. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. But obviously, Watchtower is just putting whoever they want in the governing body. If qualification-wise, you got people on the governing body right now that dropped out of school at 15, and that's what his own article said about his life story. He dropped out at 15. And you got people, and this is who Watchtower is picking to put on the governing body. You're dealing with something is not adding up here. Something's not adding up. There's some green handshakes. There's some people that know some people. Because there's no way Watchtower is just looking at qualifications. Let's just see qualifications. And they're picking people that didn't even finish high school. Again, we want to congratulate Geoffrey for having his GED. Again, I'm not making fun of a GED because that's a good thing. It's very good to have one. But a GED doesn't qualify you to be a leader in an organization that millions of people blindly follow. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. We'll discuss it. Been a little busy. I'll try to get back with everyone on their voicemails. X Walk Hill Bethelite signing out.